The ancient Greeks created one of the greatest armies in the world, the one that was able to stop the entire power of the Persian Empire in the 5th century BC, and already a century later, the Hellenes, led by Alexander the Great, simply carried out the Persians in their own field, as they say, and they created their states of the Diadochi on the ruins of the Achaemenid state. However, why did the Greeks suddenly give way to the Romans in the 100s BC, their previously little-known western neighbors from Italy? Why did they so easily become a province of the Latins? Where were all those famous 300 Spartans and other Hellenic heroes? The Romans conquered Greece for several reasons. First, purely military. The mighty Greek phalanx was considered one of the best forces in the entire Oitomene, the world, of that time. However, it turned out to be completely powerless against free Roman formations, whose warriors easily moved across the battlefield. The Romans were still in the Italian wars with a huge experience in fighting the Greek phalanx and its hoplite warriors. They bypassed the inactive heavy phalanx from the rear, hit its weak vulnerabilities on the sides, especially on hilly rough terrain. In the confrontation between the phalanx and the legion, the latter won. The Greek fleet at the time of the Roman invasion was already considerably weakened, and he could not successfully resist the transportation of Italian soldiers to the Balkan Peninsula, as he once did with the Persians advancing from Asia. The Romans were able to supply huge armies in Greece, which the Persian kings could not afford. By the 3rd century BC, the legendary Macedonian cavalry of the Getares dwindled and weakened, which once allowed Alexander to go through the entire Persian army from edge to edge. The Romans almost did not see the threat from her. The second reason is political. Greece at the time of the Roman invasion was completely fragmented. Part of the Greek policies was dependent on Macedonia. The Romans managed to subtly play on the contradictions between the pure Greeks and the Macedonians, and, having destroyed the Macedonian kingdom, for centuries to subordinate Hellas to its power. However, one cannot say that the conquest of the freedom-loving Hellenes was given to Rome so simply. The Greeks formed several alliances against the Romans at once. Aetolian, with the support of the Seleucids, the heirs of Macedonian who entrenched themselves in Asia. Achaean led by Corinth. The Romans demolished both of these unions with a steamroller, razing the same Corinth to the ground. Roman diplomacy also worked subtly in Greece. A whole network of agents of influence was in full swing here. The Roman Senate right and left bribed Greek military leaders, politicians, aristocrats, not allowing them to speak out against the invaders. In addition, the Greeks saw in the Romans by no means a dangerous enemy who threatened to destroy their civilization, as, for example, the Persians tried before, but rather, they saw in the Italians an obedient strong student, under whose wing one could easily continue to live in the same way, yes, and safe from any enemies. The Greeks literally soaked Rome with their rich culture. Their language became the second in power, especially in the eastern provinces of the Roman state, and with the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century AD, the Hellenes even managed to reformat the surviving eastern part into huge Greece, Byzantium. In general, to put it simply, the Greeks at the time of the Roman invasion were considerably weakened. They did not have political unity, and the Romans knew very well how to fight them, and the Greeks themselves were not averse to joining the strong power of advanced neighbors.